Thank you so much, Loie. I'm very excited to introduce our speaker this evening, Yvonne Choice. She will be facilitating the Building Strong Roots for Sustainable Care session. Yvonne Choice is the founder and CEO of Providers Need Care, with more than 20 years of experience as a childcare provider, center owner, trainer, and advocate. Yvonne is dedicated to supporting children, families, and the professionals who care for them. She also serves as vice president of the Consortium for Early Learning Services and is a children's book author and resource developer. Through her work in early childhood education, social emotional learning, business development, and self care, she empowers providers with the tools and support needed to thrive in their daily work. At this time, I will now pass it over to Yvonne Choice.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here, and thank you to CCPU and all of the staff for having me. In addition to the titles that were listed, I do have three nonprofits that I run, but Providers Needs Care is actually the favorite of mine. It's the baby of everything. And what makes it so near and dear to my heart is the 25 years that I did this in my home. And so I'm really happy to be able to pour into that community. And I thank you again for having me. I think one of the things I do want to also share is why I uh, created this particular nonprofit, having already had two in place. But it was in the middle of training providers to get their licenses that I saw a lot of red flags popping out that I recognized from my 25 years. And I just knew that our providers are not healthy. They are not taking care of themselves, and I didn't feel comfortable training them to take care of little Johnny. So for me, it was necessary to step up and do something and create a space where I could pour into our providers and help make sure that they take care of themselves first. Are we ready for me to share my PowerPoint? No.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, everyone can see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. I need to get a few bars out of my way so I can see it okay. Okay. So again, we've had our introduction of me, and so we're going to move forward in talking about this presentation, Building Strong Roots for Sustainable Care. This is something that I thought long and hard about when I put it together as to how I would drive this point home to our providers, how important it is to take care of themselves. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here because I know that a lot of you are rushing in and just taking the time to come here tonight. But I thank you for being here and for taking that time to pour into yourselves. I want you to just take a breath for a moment because I want you to put all of those things that were on your mind before you came to this session. And just for once, for an hour, this is about you. Make this moment about you. And we're going to do that by starting with a check-in. And the question that I have for you is, how are you feeling today? That question is more so for you to ask you because check-ins are important. So I would like for you to just take a moment because again, you just finished a busy day. You just hopped on here. Maybe you even haven't had dinner yet, or you just had to do a quick dinner for your families. But how are you feeling right now in this moment? Are you tired? Are you overwhelmed? Are you um, okay, just pop it in the chat and basically just so that you can see you're not alone in however you're feeling. Thank you. So building strong roots for sustainable care, it's going to start with how do you care for yourself while caring for others? So again, this session is designed to support family child care providers with simple daily self-care practices. And I'm going to repeat that. Simple daily self-care practices that are rooted in social emotional awareness and regulation. So through reflection and practical tools, you will learn to manage stress, prevent burnout, and strengthen your ability to show up calmly and intentionally. And I want you to remember that word, intentionally, for both the children in your care and yourself. So today, we're going to focus on learning to understand the stress in your body. We all have it. That doesn't mean we understand what it looks like or feels like. Learning to do simple regulation tools and daily self-care practices, and all of this to help prevent burnout. This building of roots starts with coming to the reality of the role, or shall I say the roles that you play each and every day. I'm sure you've heard that you wear many hats, that you are the teacher, the caregiver, the business owner, the emotional support person, and many other things that we could label you. But underneath this stack, somewhere is you, the role of you. And it's important that we figure out how do we pull you from under the bottom of this stack and place you on top throughout your day, and most certainly that you end your day being you. So it's confession time. And this is another way of checking in. The question is, are you often feeling overwhelmed during your day? The question is not about today. It's not about yesterday. It's just taking a moment to realize on the norm, are you feeling overwhelmed? And just drop that heart or that yes in the chat. And again, you can see you are not alone. So what is self-care? Let's start with what it's not. It's not the big myth that it's going to take all this extra time to take care of you. It's not something that's big or complicated. Self-care is three simple things: awareness, regulation, and small daily resets. Regulation, awareness, and small daily resets. This is how you return to you each day. This is how you bring and go up underneath that stack and pull yourself back up, is by using these three simple techniques. So we talked about understanding stress. Again, we all experience stress. We will always experience stress at some level, but understanding how does your body experience it? How does your body express it? What does it feel like for you? Because it's different for everyone. So you want to be in touch with your body. Are you feeling, does when stress hits, do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel irritated or tired or exhausted? Or do you just feel like you just want to disconnect? That is for you to determine, because you want to be aware of when stress is coming as opposed to when you're just having a simple emotion or feeling. So our nervous system usually has three basic states that we're going to be in. We're either going to be calm or overwhelmed, or we're just ready to shut down. So when we're calm, our body feels safe, it feels connected, it's in control. And you can think clearly, you can be more patient, and you can respond with, there's that word, intention. When we're overwhelmed, we're in a high stress state. Our bodies are on alert. We feel tense and rushed and irritated. or many other things, depending on how your body responds to feeling overwhelmed. But when we shut down, the body has had enough. It just checks out. We could feel numb, we could feel disconnected and tired, but what it comes down to is we're unable to cope. That's it, we're done. So here's that check-in again. Why do I have all these check-ins? It's not just a filler for this PowerPoint. It's part of that awareness piece. It's what is so important for you to stay aware of how you're feeling and where you are. So I want you to check in and tell me which of these have you been feeling most often. Give it some thought because again, we're not talking about today or yesterday. I mean, overall, in the last week or 2 weeks, have you been feeling more calm or noticed yourself being more overwhelmed? Are you on that verge of shutdown? It's very important for you to check in with you. Just drop it in the chat and so that everyone can see, again, you are not alone. I'm sorry, my bar keeps getting in the way. Okay. So Rooted and Rising is a framework that I created here for you to help you clearly see what it looks like and how you can utilize this framework. And it's about building yourself from the inside out. It's not about adding more to your day again. It's about strengthening how you respond and how you manage stress, because we're always going to have stress. But how do you manage it? Most importantly, how you take care of yourself in real time, not later, not tomorrow, not after the kids leave, but as your day goes on throughout the day, how do you care for you? And so this is a framework that you can use throughout your day, every day, in any moment. And I hope you guys have some pens and paper available because this is going to be information as we move forward that you will want to write down. So the core message of Rooted and Rising is that we don't rise first. We build our roots first. Like this tree, you can see how strong the roots are. You can see how it's flourishing. But this tree goes through things. It goes through seasons. It goes through storms where it loses leaves. It loses its branches. But because the roots are so strong, it always replenishes itself. It always grows. It always comes back to this beautiful state that it's in. So now we're going to find out what rooted looks like. And now rooted it's your foundation. Okay, it's building that foundation like the foundation of that tree. That's what the roots are. And that looks like you being physically grounded, mentally aware, and able to pull up that emotional regulation in a moment's notice. So being physically grounding means taking those deep breaths when the room becomes loud or overwhelming for you or any situation. It means that mental awareness where you're noticing when your thoughts feel rushed or negative. It means you're becoming that's your awareness piece. And then the emotional regulation is recognizing that frustration before it turns into a reaction. So if we're practicing the rooting, what does it look like when it's in action? It means that you have begun to take those deep breaths before you respond. You are noticing your feelings, and you are slowing down in those stressful moments. We talk about breathing, and I know we hear it all the time. Breathe and take 5, count to 5. And we take that for granted that it's just again, something people say. But how often do we actually breathe? Do we even know how to breathe? A lot of us are breathing and we're just taking that deep breath and we're blowing it out. And it looks more like a and this is not breathing. Breathing is when you inhale slowly through your nose so that you can feel that breath, feel it, your chest. You feel it coming in because that breath is coming in so that you can push out the stress. So even when we release the stress, and when the key word here is release, when we breathe out, we're blowing it out at a slow pace so that you can release it. And even when you take it in, you want to hold it for a minute. You want to stay there. Don't be so quick to blow it out because you want to feel that air filling your chest. And even when you release it, stay there for a minute because you want to, empty everything out. Just give it a moment. You don't want to blow it out and then pounce right back into action. So slowing down in those stressful moments, all of this is what rooted in action looks like. And these results to come to small actions that help you stay steady and in control, even when your environment feels busy or overwhelming. What does rise look like in action? Once we have accomplished the feat of creating those self-care practices and put it in place, and our roots have become stronger, now we're beginning to rise. And we know those roots are in place because we're speaking more calmly. We're guiding instead of reacting, and we are feeling more in control. And these are the moments where your growth shows, where your practice comes into play, and where you notice a shift in how you respond, but most of all, how you feel. So that outcome of rising, this is how you show up. This is how you dig yourself from underneath that stack of hats and those many roles that you play. By being able to rise, having your roots in place, you show up. You stay more calm under pressure. You learn how to react and you lead with, there's that word again, intention. So when we're on the rise, that's when you are rooted and your rising becomes more natural and you begin to handle situations with great patience, clarity, and confidence. So check-in time again. Now we're looking at a self-reflection. In this moment, now we're talking about today. How rooted do you feel today? It's important that you recognize where you are today because as you start this journey of practicing, you want to know where am I in this rating scale? So you know where you're trying to get to. So take a moment and just think about everything I've just said and now realizing where am I? Am I a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 5? So rooted and rising as it pertains to burnout. We can go from burnout to shutdown. This is that step right before we get to the point where that's it, we're checking out. But burnout builds over time. Burnout develops gradually when your body and your mind do not get the support and the recovery that it needs from the constant stress, no breaks, the emotional overload, and the exhaustion. Burnout happens when we keep rising without being rooted. When you continue moving from one challenge to the next without pausing, stress builds up. And stress again can look like irritability, feeling disconnected, not having any patience. These are signs. They are signs that your body is telling you it needs care, it needs attention, and it needs support. And I'm going to stop here and I'm going to share a story with you that I don't know how many of you come from this background, but I came from the background where My grandmother and my mother were like a rock. They were like those trees that just weave back and forth, but they never fall down. This was that example that they had learned of what a woman is all about, strong woman. And this was the example that was set for me. And this is what I aspired to be because I was impressed. I saw my mother go through some things and I was like, wow. She bent over a little bit, but she popped right back up. And so I wanted to be that strong woman as well. And I became her. I became Superwoman. In 2013, I found myself saying, not just to myself, but out loud, this is too much. Every time something came up, I was saying, this is too much. And when I heard myself say it a third time, I became irritated with myself. And I put myself in check and I said, why do you keep saying that? We are doing what we have always done. We're fine. We're just a little tired today. I dismissed myself. I shot me down. I was like, no, I'm good. 2 weeks later, I had a heart attack. The moment they gave me that diagnosis, I heard myself say, this is too much. And I realized that was the sign that my body was trying to give me, was trying to tell me, danger, danger, danger. And I shot it down and I dismissed it. So those signs that your body provides to you, they are there for a reason. Listen to your body because it knows you better than you know you. So managing behavior, meeting needs, and handling responsibilities without a moment to reset can leave you feeling drained and overwhelmed. And I can tell you from that moment moving forth, I listen to all the signs that my body puts up. If it says yield, pause, stop, quit, yes, no, I am very much in touch with it because I know it's looking out for me. It's warning me. Even when I'm not aware, it's aware. Health and wellness. We want to talk about how stress impacts us. Well, we just heard how it impacts our heart health, but our sleep is another attack that stress comes for. When we have that insomnia, when we're restless nights, when we're just not getting that good night's sleep, when our thoughts are racing and we're still trying to remember, oh, did I do this? Did I do the menus? It affects our sleep. It affects your mood, and it most certainly affects your energy level. So you need to remember that your health matters, not just the work that you do. So we're talking about our daily routine practices. These are those simple, intentional actions that you can take throughout your day to stay grounded, and they are not time consuming or complicated. For example, going back to the deep breathing and making sure that you breathe before you respond to a child or to a parent or to a situation. We're going to practice that breathing again. I want everybody to take that deep breath with me. And remember, don't overthink the word deep because I mean deep and fill your lungs, but don't suck it in. Okay. And so when we take that deep breath, I'm going to count to 5 and I want you to hold it for that count. And when you release it, I want you to just slowly release it and then hold it for that count. So breathe with me now through our nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out through your mouth and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was nothing time consuming or complicated about that. You can do this 1, 2, 3, 10 times a day. We want to pause between activities. Yes, you have a structure, you have things to do. We have lunch. We have to do this. We're going to do reading time. Don't rush from one thing into the other. Take a pause. You can pause and take that simple breath that we just did right in that moment while you're walking in to start the next thing. Just stop and pause for a minute in between all of these activities that we do. And then stretching your body. This is so important because we want to keep moving. A lot of times when we get out of bed, we just, oh, alarm went off, we pop up, or we're out the bed. But I want you to start rolling up. Don't pop up. Just roll over from whichever side you're wearing towards the side that you have to get out. Roll over, take your time, push yourself up, and then just sit there on the side of the bed for just a moment so that you can gather yourself, gather your balance, and then stretch that neck out. Let's stretch it with me right now. You stretch it from side to side. I know some of you can hear that neck popping. That neck is creaking and cracking because that's where the stress lands. It starts in our shoulders, it starts in our back, and it works our way up. But if you take that moment before you raise up out of that bed, unless you need to run to the bathroom first, and just get that stretch in to loosen up your body and gain your balance first. So these small practices, they support your ability to stay calm, focused, and in control. And again, they are not consuming and they are not complicated. So here are the tools that I said you would be taking with you today. We've talked about our breathing, and we've talked about how you want to use this, especially when you're responding to those challenging moments. But again, how you can use this throughout your entire day. We talked about stretching. So here's an example of using those shoulder releases. When we're squeezing those shoulders together, when we grab that one arm by the elbow and just take that good stretch. You can do this while you're sitting on the side of the bed and just stretch it out and feel how that feels in the middle of your back, how that feels. It kind of helps to keep that stress from moving up to your neck area. And this is good for when you're starting to feel tension building up in your body or just to keep it from building up in your body. Now we have our name it tool. Name your feelings. This goes to our check-ins that we're doing. How are you feeling? I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling tired. Naming your emotions helps you slow down. It helps your reactions and it builds the awareness so that you stay in touch with how you're feeling and you're listening to those signs. So when you recognize that you are feeling that, what you're feeling, I'm sorry, that creates that space for you to respond instead of react. So instead of reacting quickly, you pause, you think, I'm feeling frustrated. And this helps you take that breath and calm yourself down. Our last tool is our micro reset. You want to just open the door and breathe. Let some fresh air in. I did not say go outside and leave the kids in there and sit on the porch. Just open the door, take a deep breath. Make sure you're drinking water throughout your day. Keep some water right there with you. Not coffee, not a Coke, water. You need that. And then every now and then close your eyes for a brief moment. When you walk into chaos or little Johnny's starting to act up before you walk, just close your eyes so you can remove that scene for a quick second and recenter yourself and then be present in that moment. So these are tools that you can use during your transitions throughout the day, and they will help you keep from being overwhelmed. I think this is probably one of the most important tools that we're getting ready to talk about. And for those who are you that still don't believe that this is not time consuming or something that's going to be complicated, shared regulation is what you need to adopt. You don't have to have any extra time to practice with the children. And self-care can happen during your day. You don't have to wait until after the kids are gone. But when you're practicing those calming strategies with the children, you are supporting your own regulation. And this shared approach creates a calmer environment that reduces stress for everyone, including the children. So here are some shared regulation activities, and you want to write these down. These 4 activities, I would highly suggest you incorporate them into your daily schedule. That means if you got to move something else out to move these 4 in, you want to have this part of your daily regimen. Now we're bringing our kids together and we're saying, okay, it's group breathing time. And we're all going to sit and we're going to take that breath together so that when they're taking their breath, you're taking your breath. Okay, it's check in our feelings time. How are we feeling today? And you're going to have those emojis up there so that they can point to it or they can yell out, or little Johnny can say, I'm upset or I'm sad. So that also gives you a heads up that you can address why is little Johnny sad. And we can all help him feel better because we're going to do our breathing. Little Johnny is sad. Let's do a breathing with little Johnny to help him calm down. And that will help you prevent that behavior that's going to come later because you didn't know little Johnny was feeling sad. Okay. So stretches. Okay, it's time to do our stretches. It's time to do our movement. And then lastly, and I think this one is really important, is their quiet reset. Everybody sit down. We're going to just sit quietly. I'm going to count to 30, and we're just going to be still and we're going to close our eyes. And they will get used to doing these 4 things with you every day. And there's no particular order. And there's no time limit on how many times you can do this a day with your children. When they're coming out before they take that nap, let's have a quiet reset. Let's get in that frame of mind. When they're coming out of recess and they've just finished playing and you need them to calm down because you want them to do story time, this is your new daily regimen, and it's going to keep the stress down for you and for your children. So the key connection here is that every time you guide the kids through the calming strategies, you're also strengthening your own ability to regulate. And we're all building these habits together, and your environment will be so much calmer. The purpose and the impact that you have. You are doing the most important work. It's not just important work. You are helping shape children, shape how they understand, shape their emotions and their relationships and their safety. And you are helping them, your presence helps guide them so that they have that lasting impact on their development. Long before children meet their first teacher, some of them, before they have that first boss in their life or that first mentor in their lives, they met you first. You are that first teacher. You are that first impact that they have. So the way you show up becomes the part of who they become. So children learn from your actions, they learn from your tone and your responses. Your ability to stay calm and regulated becomes part of what they carry with them for the rest of their lives. And I want to thank you again for being here today. I hope that you took this time out, that you weren't sidetracked, and you used this evening for you to take care of you, and that you take these tools and you remember this was not complicated. This was not time consuming. I can do this at any time throughout my day to help start my self-care journey. Again, I would like to invite you to join us Join our network. This is the QR code for Providers Need Care. We are a in-home child care providers network. We are there to provide training, to provide resources, and most of all, to provide support so that you cannot have too much support along with CCPU, with UDW. Providers Need Care. Those of you who are familiar with the Consortium for Early Learning Services, I invite you to join our network, and we look forward to spending time with you. And also go to our Instagram, Providers Need Care. We have lots of resources on there. We have live videos that you can work out to that that guide you through just that self-care practice. So our Instagram, and join my PNC network. And thank you again so much to CCPU, to Loie, to the group for having me. I appreciate it.